भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 8, text number 28. Manye Tvam Kalam Ishana Manye Tvam Kalam Ishana Anadinidanam Vibhum Anadinidanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmita Kali Bhutanam Yanmita Kali Manye Tvam Kalamishana Anadinidanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmita Kali Manye Tvam Kalamishana Anadinidanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmita Kali Manye Tvam Kalamishana Anadinidanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmita Kali Manye Tvam Kalamishana Anadinidanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmita Kali Manye Tvam Kalamishana Anadinidanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmita Kali. Synonyms: Manye, I consider. Tvam, your Lordship. Kalam, the eternal time. Ishana, the Supreme Lord. Anadinidanam, without beginning and end. Vibhum, all pervading. Samam, equally merciful. Charantam, distributing. Sarvatra, everywhere. Bhutana, of the living beings. Yatmitha, by intercourse. Kali, dissension. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, and all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Please repeat. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Purport. Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her paternal house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as the super soul Paramatma. Another name of the Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. Eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by Him. It is no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. We may forget the misdeeds for which we may suffer at this present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion and therefore He knows everything past, present and future. And because the Paramatma feature of Lord Krishna destines all actions and reactions, He is the supreme controller also. Without His sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of this freedom is the cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse their freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Others who misuse freedom are put into misery destined by the eternal Kala. The Kala offers the conditioned souls both happiness and miseries. It is all predestined by eternal time. As we have miseries uncalled for, so we may have happiness also without being asked, for they are all predestined by Kala. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering or enjoying the results of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. Everyone here wants to lord it over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all-pervading, and therefore He can see everyone's activities. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, He is known as the eternal time Kala. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We have been seeing the wonderful prayers offered by Queen Kunti to Lord Krishna. In the earlier words, to get the context, a very wonderful prayer that she offered to Krishna was, "You are the property of a materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of modes of material nature." So that sets the tone that Kunti Maharani is telling that Krishna is available or approached only by persons who are materially impoverished, or in the sense of those who are not inclined to grow materially. But otherwise, he is approachable only for those who are spiritually inclined. So continuing the prayer, in these words, Kunti Maharani specifically glorifies the act of eternal time. She says, "I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone." So, Samam Charantam Sarvatra. Samam proper translates as equally merciful, Charantam distributing, Sarvatra everywhere. We find a similar words in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshasti na priyaha e bhajanti tu maam bhaktya mai teshu chapyaham. There he says, I envy no one, I am equal to everyone, but I am specifically dear to those who render devotional service. So with a very similar statement or fact is been again recalled by Kunti here, saying, Samam charantam sarvatra. You are equal to everyone and you are merciful to everyone. But the fact that when we see, or people cannot correlate that Lord is equal to everyone, is because of the disparity that they see visibly or in the sense of not with a true vision. So that's where Prabhupada writes here, eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by him. It is no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. Many people do acknowledge there is a lot of suffering in this world, but by the by, they also say we do not know why and for what why are we suffering. So here is the answer for all those questions. Prabhupada clarifies, we may forget the misdeeds for which we may suffer at the present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion and therefore he knows everything past, present and future. So an intelligent person knows, okay, why am I suffering now and what is the misdeed that I would have done. In that sense, he takes everything as his own past. Whatever he goes through, it's because of his own past. Here, actually Paramatma, feature of the Lord, destines all actions and reactions. Every action that we do has got a reaction. Unless otherwise, it's a devotional service. So, people unknowing of this fact commit lot of actions which are resultant in some actions favorable or unfavorable, but they are to be destined. There is no running away from this, the destiny. That's as good, that's why it's called destiny, which cannot be changed as such. One more feature that Prabhupada brings in is the living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. And now the question is, what is that made them do something wrong? Because they have misused their freedom, that is the cause of their suffering. In terms of devotees, they do not misuse their freedom and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Although Lord says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasti na priyaha. I am equal to everyone, I envy nobody, but still we see that Lord himself destines a person suffering or happiness. That's because of their own doing. So only the Kala, which is another manifestation of Lord's energy, brings forth these actions and reactions as we go by. No one is either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the results of his own destiny. The destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. So this is the point that we have to now bring in. What is that setting up our future? What is our destiny? It's the way that we do our day-to-day activities. So a very good example for us to understand is by the government system that we have. We see there are governments formed every 5 years, and government puts up some rules and regulations for the common people, and it is for the everyone in the society. Say for example, if you want some degree, you want to become an engineer, or you want to become a doctor, or you want to become a barrister, there are some exams, competitive exams that everybody is eligible irrespective of what they are. Unless and otherwise they qualify, they are not getting into that stream of business or that stream of learning. Now the question that comes in is, why is somebody getting qualified and somebody not able to get qualified? Even though everybody is eligible, somebody is getting qualified for such and such courses and somebody is not. That's because of their capacity. That we understand very easily. Now, where is this capacity coming from? It is our past again. It is not to say, bring about a change and it will happen. No. There are few things, that's where destiny cannot keep forbid. You have to go along with the destiny that is designed for us, and then you are at that place. So, Prabhupada, in a nice conversation, I would like to present that. Prabhupada brings in, suppose you have got a piece of land as agriculturist, and you produce your food grains in large quantity or small quantity, it doesn't matter. Similarly, the body we are utilizing, we can practically see everyone is working with the body here in Bombay city. A very poor man is also in Bombay city and a very rich man is also there. Both of them have the same facility to work. But we find that one man is working very hard, day and night, hardly is getting his morsel of food. Another man, simply by sitting in the office, earning thousands and thousands. Why? Because the difference of the field of activity, the body is different. We see here, right? Somebody is working 8 hours, he is paid some hundreds, and somebody else works for the same 8 hours, he is paid thousands, and somebody by lakhs. And now, why is this? Because of the body he has got. The capacity of the body differs. Say, if you have to go from here to some other city, you can go by walk, you can take a bicycle, you can take a motorcycle, you can take the best of cars, or you can go by air. That defines what's your capacity to go. Now nobody can bar saying, somebody is partial, they have not been given the capacity or they're not been eligible for such and such kind of possibilities. Everybody has got their own capacities and the possibilities have been given. So Prabhupada very nicely goes on to say, because one has got a certain type of body, his destination is already there. We can study these things, and somebody is living in a poor slum, another man is living in a very palatine building. So, simply by endeavoring, I shall live in a palatine building and I shall not live in a poor slum hole, is not possible, because the destiny is there. Therefore, the body is made according to our past karma, and that is called destiny. Your happiness and distress, according to the body, is already settled up. It is not possible by nature, by natural way to improve or disimprove. It is all being settled up. So, it is, Prabhupada brings in that there are some things called destiny, which each one of us have to
accept it. There is no going away saying, okay, I don't like the way I have been given. So people confront and conflict, that's because of the social intercourse. That's what is mentioned here. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. They see, okay, there's a lot of disparity, and then they blame one another, saying this government is like that, or this government is like that, or this person is so and so, and this person is so and so. But actually the fact is, it is coming back on our own doing. One more very good example, how to deal with this. Prabhupada gives the solution as well. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. Okay. Everyone was happy in this position. Therefore, our duty should be that without trying for economic development, everyone was happy in his position. Everyone, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The culture was so nice that nobody was unhappy. Even if he was a Shudra, or even if he was a Vaishya, or a Brahmana, or a Kshatriya. It is not that because the Kshatriya, the royal family, they were happy, and the Brahmanas were not happy, or Shudras were not happy. No. Everyone was happy, because still in India, you go to the village and you are happy with they are happy with their own designations. This is Indian culture. Now we are injecting discontentment, Otherwise, everyone was happy in his own position. God has given this position, so this is all right. Let me do my work. This is satisfaction. Everyone was satisfied. Still it is going on. Although there is a great propaganda is going on to kill the Vedic culture. So Prabhupada is saying how one has to be happy with what he has been destined for. The only change that we can bring about is not materially, but we can bring it in the terms of spiritually, and how much are we trying to progress spiritually? How much are we trying to revive our relation with Lord? That is that's the task for all of us. Otherwise, the happiness and distress will come by even if not called for or not prayed for. So idea here is, Lord Kunti Maharani here very significantly says, you are equal to everyone in distributing your mercy. In distributing the mercy, Lord is equal to everyone. So one has to get rid of the gunas, the lower gunas that always ponder us to degrade. So there are so many modes that always bring us down. Either it may be a passion or ignorance that will bring back to the same concept of again and again dealing with the Maya or the external energy of the Lord. So as we see, government gives us a fair bit of opportunity for everybody. It is what their own capacity that defines what they are eligible for. Similarly, Lord has given each one of us a capacity to work for His own will. But it is the jiva's misuse that makes the difference of being implicated or going forward and using it as a good sons of the Lord. Okay, so here brings a very good analogy that Prabhupada brings it from the book or the magazine of Back to Godhead. So Prabhupada brings in, why was this magazine named after Back to Godhead? When we use the word back, often we use, if somebody asks you, where are you going for the trip or so and so, you will say, okay, from here we will go to Vrindavan, or from there to Jaipur and back to Hyderabad. We use the word back. So why do we use the word back? Because we are stationed here and we want to use it to refer, we are back. So Prabhupada brings in, now we are heading back towards Godhead. So now we are heading to, otherwise we are heading towards so many destinations for lives together, and now by the scriptures, by the mercy of Prabhupada, we can head back towards Godhead. That's where he brings in a significance of bringing it back to Godhead. So the destiny is there in terms of material things, but okay, without giving much aura to that, if you focus your abilities, whatever is being given, and turn towards God, that is the success of this life. So that's how Prabhupada, Kunti Maharani says. So Prabhupada writes, Kunti knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her parental house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as Super Soul Paramatma. So she knew that Lord is the supreme Godhead. Although she knew, okay, he was a nephew, but she never referred in that way. So even though we may have forgotten our relations, but if we can relate to what Kunti is praying here and revive our relation, then we are also heading towards back to Godhead. So one more relation that brings Prabhupada the context that Prabhupada brings in this back to Godhead sequential. So if you face towards east in the morning and you see a sunrise and you see everywhere light, and suppose on the same morning you turn towards west, and what do you see is a shadow of your own, right? East is the sunrise and you're facing towards west and you can see your own shadow. So that's how Prabhupada says, now you turn towards light. Light is nothing but Krishna. So all that we have to do is dovetail or engage our senses back towards the service of Lord. So that's how this back to Godhead or back to Krishna is possible. All that we have to do is stop looking at the external energy of the Lord. The other day, I happened to go for some convention hall they had invited as part of Akshay Patra. So people there artificially, I could make out, artificially putting some loud music, and they are thinking now we are supposed to enjoy and this is the way to enjoy. Artificially, how long it can go on? If somebody is intelligent, they can easily make out, okay, this is a cooked up whole setup is made, and to make sure that loud music will make them happy or so and so setup will make them happy, was quite visible. Any intelligent person, sober person can easily make out it's all being cooked up in the name of enjoyment. But actually it is no enjoyment. It is that they are just seeing their own shadow and trying to be happy in that shadow, but will never happen. So we have as we see these prayers, as we see these kind of situations in our day-to-day lives, if we can correlate with these instructions and be careful and cautious how and why these people are getting carried away by the lower modes, and that will save us from the wrath of Maya or the modes that bring us down. So it's very important for us to be very deliberating on these statements of how Kala brings in our destiny, how we have to be cautious about our capacity and not being super ambitious or of something which is not in the purview So these are all things that bring in a soberness. So very nice prayers. These are all. So that's where Kunti Maharaj, Manye Tvam Kalameshanam. I consider your Lordship to be eternal time. She has seen Lord's features in different forms. Now she is seeing Lord as the eternal time. So the eternal time, being the energy of the Lord, always brings forth what is destined. So as a devotee, our destiny can be changed if we surrender to Lord, and by that starts by chanting the holy names of Lord, associating with devotees, being in the going to dhams and knowing about Lord. All this brings in towards God, which is referred as back to Godhead or back to Krishna. I stop here if you have any questions. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 91